Here we go.
All right, let's take a look at page 60. Which step is the most important step? Which one? There isn't one. You're right. The one you're on. Write that in. The most important step is the one you're on. That's why all the steps are there. Every step is put in place to get to the next step. That's why it's called steps. It's kind of cool, huh? Which steps are your greatest strengths? Number one, which steps are your greatest strengths? And you can write 2 of them in. I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it and write them in. And what impact has developing this strength had on your sales? Which step's your greatest strength, Mike?
Meet and greet.
Meet and greet?
Service walk outside.
Yeah? How does that help you?
I guess it makes things a little bit easier when it comes closing time, because at first great impression. If they really like me,
So you're good at getting them to like you, right?
Yeah.
Getting them comfortable. It's not so easy sometimes, huh? Because when they come in there, they have some doubt, don't they?
Yeah.
And right now, and it's kind of like, well, my credit's really bad, and they told me to come down here, but
Just have to know attitude problem.
I don't believe it. I've already been 2 places, and I can't get a car, right? Right away, full of doubt, right? No faith whatsoever.
Just have to know attitude problem and make them relax and take it from there.
It's good stuff, and it'll make a huge difference, because if they like you, then you can just follow the process.
Helps you close better, faster, easier.
Easier.
Closing easier.
Absolutely. Okay, which step needs improvement? I want everyone to write those in. Which step of yours needs improvement? What do we need to get better at? Are we having a hard time getting people in the right car? Or is it kind of difficult for us to are we kind of lousy on our presentation? Do we need to get better at building value on the lot? Vehicle selection? Are we depending too much on the manager to sell everything for us? Do we need to get a little bit better at reiterating to the customer? All of us have areas that we need to improve, but what are the 2 steps that you know right away that you need improvement? Which step you want to work on, Wincy?
Bypassing my credit.
Bypassing? Like in the first few steps or later? Like on the presentation? Okay, so overcoming objections. All right, like what? Like getting to the work the deal? You want to get better on that step? What's stopping you? What's a big one? They want to think about it right before you write them up?
Not want to think about
They got to go?
for that, but it's more like, why is my interest rate theirs?
Okay.
You know, most of our customers are more like challenge customers.
Okay.
And it's hard to explain to them without being mean, hey, you don't pay nobody. That's why, you know. That's why you pay.
Wincy said that your interest rate is so high because you don't pay nobody. Okay. Well, based on all the information you've given us and the lenders that we do have that are willing to work with you, these are the rates that you qualify for. Now, keep in mind, you're not married to this vehicle. What you want to do is use this as a stepping stone to help you get your credit reestablished. Like I was saying to you earlier, it is a simple interest rate. Now, as long as you make your payments on time and you show a good payment history, we'll get you better rates. And not only that, we'll get you better terms and conditions. And we'll also be able to get you more vehicle the next time you go to trade. That's our whole goal here. Remember, like what we talked about earlier? We want to help you get reestablished and increase your credit score. By the way, I wanted to ask, I didn't get your phone bill yet. Did you have that on you? And I also needed your registration. Thank you. How's that sound, Wincy? Okay. You got to practice that one, though. And guess what? It's in that book. I'll show you where it's at. We're getting ready to get to it. All right. What else? What's another one? What's another step that you guys need help with?
I think I need
What's
you know
that?
how sometimes you have a customer and maybe the parents or father and mother, and you, let's say the daughter is buying the car,
Yeah.
and you try to answer all the questions to the daughter and pretty much focus on the daughter. You try to help the other two, but sometimes they throw some, you know,
Curveballs.
Yeah, like you feel like they're going against you, like
Okay. First of all, if you went out to buy a car with your daughter, what would you be like?
well, I want to make sure she's getting the right.
You'd make sure, say it again.
I want to make sure that she's getting the right.
I want to make sure she's buying the right car
the right
and she's not paying what? Too
not
much.
too and not cheap.
Okay, there's two fears that a parent has, and any of us, when we go to buy a vehicle, we have these two fears. But let me tell you something. If I'm going to buy a car for my family lives far away, and I'm not there to help them buy a vehicle, right? But when they go into a dealership, and I'm in the car business, what am I thinking immediately? She's going to meet a shark. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got mom and dad. Help me out here. We got mom and dad, and we got daughter. Okay, what you need to do is focus on who is the most protective one, and that's who you need to get to what? Like, listen, believe, and buy. Now, obviously, we need to present to the daughter, but you need to make sure we're always looking at dad, who's really making the decision, and make dad feel good about everything, and it's all his decision. Now, if we do a good job on the first impression, greeting, building rapport, investigating, and we really get dad involved, and you know what your dad's saying does make sense, and what he's doing is looking out for your best interests. And you have to make sure you say things to the daughter like, well, the reason why, and you reiterate dad, and you're on dad's side. And if she asks you a question, you might want to look at dad and let dad answer it. Does that make sense? You want to make sure that you're letting dad know that you're looking out for their best interests, or else they're going to perceive you as some just run-of-the-mill car salesman. And obviously, Mike, you're not that car salesperson because I know you. So you just need to let the dad know that and listen to the dad and make sure you communicate. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
You need to make sure you go through the process with dad and daughter and mom, all of them. And it's a big deal with husband and wives. A lot of salespeople like to look at the husband and look at the husband. We already know that the women make 90% of the decisions. Our vehicles to men, we deliver 50% to women because if you look at the population in our country. But the women are making 90% of the decisions, whether you know it or not, or whether they act like it or they don't. They're making the decisions. Not in every case, but in most. Because I know what you're thinking, Ed. My wife ain't going to decide which Mustang I'm going to get, and I got a bunch of them in there. Yeah. But remember, we're not, are we selling to Ed or are we selling to the general public? Okay, and you guys need to remember that. We're not selling to you. We're selling to who? General public. Does that make sense? All right, what else? What's another step you have a hard time on? Questions? Like what?
Well, I build rapport with people, but I haven't been asking the open-ended questions or the yes
Okay.
questions.
You probably have if you've been building rapport. Like, where are you from? And
Well, yeah, a little bit, but not
yeah.
like I should be.
Right. Now, when we get in the car business, obviously most of us like dealing with people. Is that right?
Yeah.
And somebody told us, you know, you would be good. You're good with people and you should sell cars. Anybody ever heard that before? And you're like, I like this business. This is good. My customers, they love me. You know, I'm going to be good at this. But let me tell you something. Building rapport is a skill. Because if you're working on an old deal or handling an old problem and you're not in the right frame of mind and you go out there and grab a customer, you might not realize it, but you're skipping steps all over the place. You're going through the motion. And if you don't practice these things, then you won't do it consistently. We might be naturals, if you want to call it that. I don't believe there's any such thing as a natural salesperson. I think that there's people that are born and have gone through certain things in their life and it helped them to be a better salesperson. But I don't believe in that natural stuff because unless you have the skill, the talent's what God gave us. Skill is something that we develop. Skill is something we have to go work at. And most people don't realize that rapport building is a skill. And if you practice it more, it'll just become subconscious because you'll develop that skill and then you'll even be better at it. And even the fact that you recognize that and you're bringing it up right now, I promise you'll be better at rapport building, like real quickly, because it's important to you and you realize it. So that's good stuff. All right, what else? What other steps?
A lot of customers want you to skip over that demo step and go
Yeah.
straight to what's your best price?
What's your best price? What else? Besides, what's your best price? Oh, I want your bottom dollar. I don't want to drive it. And I don't want this back and forth going on. And I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time. I only got 5 minutes. Great. That's more than enough time for me to get you some information. As a matter of fact, I'll be able to get you the best price with no problem. By the way, who's the lucky one? Who's getting the vehicle? Is it for you or for someone else?
It'll be for me.
Oh, it's for you? Well, welcome to our dealership. My name is Daryl. And you are?
I'm Betty, but what's the best price?
No problem, Betty. I'll get that for you right away. I'm really glad that you came in the dealership. Follow me. We'll get it for you. Now, if he keeps hammering... Now, I got a question. First of all, let's back up for a second. Let's rewind, okay? Let's not be Daryl. Because, see, what we say out of our mouth conditions the customer to respond. Early on in my career, the first 4 years, I had people constantly on the lot. What's your best price? Oh, I want your bottom dollar. After about the 5th year, I never got it hardly ever anymore, maybe 10% of the time. Because what I was saying to the customer was getting them to respond differently. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let's see. What are you saying to the customer? Oh, I want your best price.
What I say?
Mhm.
Well, you need to drive it.
Okay, hold on a second. Whoa, whoa, time out. I don't need to do nothing. I just want your price, baby. Time out. Yeah, here's what we do. We got to immediately make emotional deposits, or they're going to keep going back to price. We can't just say you need to drive it. What's your best price? Well, as far as the price, we have a big sale and promotion this week, and my manager hasn't been refusing any reasonable offers. By the way, I wanted to ask, who's the lucky one? Who's getting the car? Is it for you or someone else? They'll tell you. Most people aren't jerks. Only 10% of them are. Only 10%. So if you say that, they'll say, well, I am. I'm getting it. Well, great. Welcome to our dealership. My name is Daryl. And they'll give you their name. And then you say, well, have you been to our dealership before? Or is this your first time? And they'll say, well, no, it's actually my first time. They're not expecting that. You know what they're expecting? Well, you need to drive it first. We don't have prices on the lot. Well, my used car manager handles the prices, and he's not here. He's appraising the car right now. They've been lied to their whole life by car salespeople. Yes or no? Yes. They're expecting it. So when they get out of the car, what are they doing?
They're ready.
They're ready. They're ready. That's why we got to have these bypasses, and we're getting ready to get into that in just a minute. Does that make sense? There's better words, but the whole deal is we have to be on those basics. If we just bypass and stand there, they're going to bring up price again. Let me give you an example. How much is it? Well, we normally don't discount our most popular vehicles. Usually the ones we discount are ones that may have been here a little bit longer or had some minor lot damage. But with the sale and promotion, I've been seeing some crazy things. By the way, were you looking for something in a 5-speed or an automatic? Well, I was looking for something in a 5-speed, and then I stopped right there. I did a great job, right, bypassing, but then I stopped. I'm looking for a 5-speed. Oh, okay. You ever have silence with your customer? You ever do that on a lot? Once you stop and you think, then you stink. That's why it's so important that we practice in the classroom, because the more we sweat in here, the less we bleed out there on the lot. Does that make sense? And when we're bleeding on the lot, that's money. That's gross. That's units. We're losing sales. They're going to ask for your card. So it's really, really important that we go right back to the basics. And it goes like this. Well, how much is it? Well, my used car manager normally handles the prices on these vehicles, and I'll be happy to get that for you guys as soon as he's free. By the way, I wanted to ask, what you like best about the BMW? You like the way they look or the way they drive? Well, I've always wanted a BMW because, you know, everyone knows that that's the, you know, it performs better than just about any other vehicle. I know they really do. They're nice vehicles, too. As a matter of fact, we've been getting a tremendous response since we've got this one on the lot, and we've only had it for a couple of days. By the way, welcome to our dealership. My name is Daryl.
Hi, Mike. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Mike. Really nice to meet you. Sure is a great day, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Is this your first time coming here, or have you been here before?
No, it's my first time.
You see how I went back to the basics? I didn't just bypass price and stop. I bypassed price and I asked more what? Questions. Who's in control? The person asking the questions or answering? Asking. So if I'm just saying, what's your best price? What's your best price? What's your best price? I mean, that person's going to feel like an idiot if they keep doing that to me and I'm acting that way like a professional, right? Now, I need to be stern. I need to be cool. I also need to be confident. And I also have to have some enthusiasm in me. I have to be genuinely interested in helping this human being, or they know it, yes or no. Now, if we don't have the right skills, what happens to us as a salesperson, and I can't speak for everyone, but I can tell you what happened to me as a salesperson. I lost confidence. I didn't have the skill to bypass price on the lot. I was taught by customers and my managers and other salespeople that all customers were jerks. I was taught that people were strokes, they'll waste your time, they don't care about you, they'll kick you in your teeth, you're nothing but a car salesperson, whatever, whatever. And I would go out on the lot with a fear because I didn't know how to overcome it. And if I didn't have a laydown, I wouldn't sell a car. So what happened was I was only selling 10% of my customers. I'd talk to, 100 people, 150 people, and I'd only sell 10, 15 cars. I had no idea. It wasn't until I developed the skills to be able to handle these initial objections and concerns and being able to go through the basics. And it goes for every single, there's not a salesperson in this room, unless you're lying, that hasn't had problems out on the lot with a customer. We all have. It's one of the biggest issues. If everybody agrees, just say aye. Aye. We all have. But we have to get better at our skills, and we still won't close them all. We'll just close more. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. I hope I helped you a little bit on that, somewhat. Huh? Yeah, maybe so. Now, there's one other customer. There's a 10%er, okay? Because whenever I go in the dealership, what do you think the salespeople and the managers do when I come out of the training room and go on the floor? What's the first thing that they do? They say, okay, let's get this one for the trainer guy. Here we go. He'll like this one. And I love that, too, because I can overcome it, close the deal. And they're like, oh, okay. But sometimes they'll go get Big Bad Bob or, that comes on a lot and says, listen, I just want your best price. I don't want this back and forth, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about none of that. Are we still going to get that, no matter what? Of course we will. And here's what you do. You got any new salespeople at your dealership?
Yeah, one.
What's their name?
Anthony.
Anthony? Okay, here's what you do. Great. I've been waiting for you to come all day. Finally, someone knows exactly what they're looking for. Hope you got your checkbook. Pull it out. Follow me. Turn around, start walking. What you do is you go, what's that salesperson's name? Anthony. You go over to Anthony to greet you. Anthony, I got a customer out here on the lot, and listen, I got a customer in service that I got to take care of it. I got a done deal on the lot. The guy just got here. He wants to buy. I think he's got his checkbook. Sir, this is Anthony. He's going to be helping you out. He's one of our best salespeople. No, I don't do that. No, I don't do that. No, but sometimes you do have to say, when they keep treating you that way, listen, we demand respect. We're professionals. If I ever see a customer chewing up a salesperson as a manager in the dealership, the first thing I do is go, and you can ask some of these guys that I work with, I'll go over there and bail them out just like this. Because we demand respect. But here's the deal. Too many of us demand respect by not doing the things that we talked about already in here. We have to do these things to get respect. But once you do these things, and you've done everything you can to help someone, they're either going to feel bad for treating you that way and buy a car, or you might get them, you might not. So what? All you got to do is say, some will, some won't, so what? Somebody else is waiting. Next! I'm going to get another customer. It's not arrogance. It's just the way I feed my family, reach my dreams, and get my goals. All worst thing happen, they just say, I want to think about it. I'll just say, I understand. You do like the car, don't you? Well, yeah. Well, when you say you want to think about it, was it the vehicle, the make, the model? Was it really the price? Well, it's the price. Well, that's cool. When you say it's the price, were you going to be writing out a check, or was it going to be coming down to those monthly payments we all got to deal with? No, it's the payments. We're not writing the check, but you guys are high, high, high. No problem. If I get the figures to fit into your budget, would there be any other reason why we wouldn't want to take the vehicle home right now?
Nope.
Great. Congratulations. Did you want something hot or cold to drink while we wrap this up? Not so fast, Trigger. Slow down, buddy. I ain't doing nothing until I know what I'm getting for my trade. No problem. And quit kidding around, Mike. I wouldn't expect you to do anything if we didn't get you enough for your trade. Do me a favor. Why don't you go ahead and grab your registration, and I'll get started on the minor details. Did you want something hot or cold to drink while we wrap this up? Great. I'll get it for you right away. Could it be that easy, really? Sure.